To be about how much you want to hold researchers on the internet responsible for the effect they have and for the quality of work they do or the lack thereof. This is going to be about a series of photos, no, it's not just one, from the Space Shuttle STS-088 launch, film roll 724, photo number 66. This is the one that gets promoted all the time. This is an overexposed photo, tilted quote-unquote high oblique, but it's upside down from reference to the Earth, looking north towards the equator from 425 miles west of the Namibian west coast of Africa, with 90% or more cloud cover, as you can see, and space debris that was dubbed the Black Knight satellite that's in frame right there. I mean, but this is the resolution and quality the image has that most people use. Remember, UFO research is about getting the blurriest and shakiest photo you can get your hands on, because God help you if something can be analyzed. Anyway, film details. E6 reversal chromogenic photographic 6-stage developing processed image from Kodak 5069 high contrast copy, elite chrome 100 speed daylight color slide film, taken through a 250 millimeter focal length Hasselblad camera on December 11th, 1998 at 2017 GMT, 4 seconds past, from a location that's the GMT there, GPS, excuse me, that's right there. This was at 214 nautical miles above the Earth, aimed downward, effectively, towards the ground, because it's pointed more towards the ground. The image, when you look it up, if you don't flip it right side up, and if you don't center it correctly, it looks like it's high above, or maybe at the same altitude. It's below, most likely. And the light came in at a sun azimuth of 225 degrees and negative 23 elevation. Anyway, the film roll is film roll 724, and it's frame 66. Now, what's funny is UFO and disclosure researchers don't research things. So let's look at all the other film, because obviously if that's frame 66, well, frame 65 exists, right? And frame 70, right? How many frames in a roll of film? Okay, let's go. So that's the location the spacecraft was at, approximately, for however long it was up there. Now remember, this is the space shuttle, and it's in orbit. Low Earth orbit requires a pretty good amount of speed to stay up. All right? All right. Now these images are not going to be turned right side up. The only thing I've done on them is doing two things. One, I'm showing you there's more than one, and you might need to look at them if you're going to say there's some sort of satellite, a huge, enormous satellite with some conspiracy theory crap that goes back for literally 10,000 years for some unknown reason. But they don't tell you the spaceship was there pointed north towards the Earth, which means it's way, way low in the atmosphere. Or not. If it's tiny, it's the same altitude they are. And if it's big, it must be really, really low in the atmosphere, like skidding off the atmosphere. So let's see what they did. By the way, they pointed the camera the same direction constantly. This is a photo of frame 65. You may have noticed it's dark there. Now I've added in the GMT because it's 2016 and 41, so let's zoom out. Okay, now remember, this is upside down. The Earth is over here. This is the sky. All right? All right. And again, what do we get? That's frame 65, and this is scaling factor 3, which means this is in 4K resolution. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but you can get high-resolution images from NASA, but not UFO researchers. Never a straight answer from UFO research. Anyway, this is 2016-41 after the hour. So let's go on to the next. There's the other image. That's the one you all looked up. But again, it's an upside down, and now you're seeing at the corner of the screen here. Okay? All right. So let's move on to the next frame. Now, I want to show you something. It looks about the same. I mean, it's kind of tilted. It's rotated counterclockwise a bit. Okay? Now you can see it's a really thin layer of something. Or yeah, it's not really thick. Hip-hop joke. And again, for perspective, it's still in the same location, approximately. In fact, let's do something a little fun here. Let's zoom out and see how much the clouds change. You see this feature here? Yeah, the rotation was primarily caused by the person tilting the camera. It's a handheld camera shot. See the string of clouds here? There's the string of clouds. There's its position relative to the edge of the spacecraft. It's right over here, right near the horizon. Before it's further up. Gee, it's almost like someone inside of the spacecraft moving a tiny amount changes its position a great deal. The more of the window you see, the higher up in the darkness it gets. The closer to the edge, the closer it looks like it's getting to the atmosphere. You see this edge of the spacecraft's window is right in line with the blue atmosphere. Okay, and look at that. That's not really hefty. So here we go again. Now we're looking. Obviously, it's look. It's got tabs on it, almost like those are for mounting over a curved surface. And again, we'll back it up again. So yeah, the center of the thing. Okay, now let's go back one more notch here. Here's that string of clouds I was pointing out. There's the string of clouds again. There's the string. It's almost as if you moving changes its position more than the ship moving. So that would indicate that it's very close to you or far away. If it's close to you, it has to be small. If it's far away, it can be big. And now we get to this one that shows it pretty much edge on and being lit from the underside. Now we're seeing this. It seems like it must be much, much later. Well, how do we figure that out? Well, let's look for these visual features. Now we're in the middle of the window, right? Or not. Or maybe the ship is rotating on its axis. Let's look for that cloud formation. And this one here. Look for these shadowed clouds here. Maybe they're zooming in. It's kind of hard to tell. It's just a mystery. Anyway, that's what that looked like. Now we look at this one. Now, let me review here. That's 2018-44 versus 2016-41. That's 2 minutes period of time, right? All right, here we are. And there it is. There it is. Oh, it totally looks like a spacecraft. But I can change its position on the entire surface of the planet. Now you're pretty much pointing down at the sky, from the sky, by moving my camera around in the window. So let's put these all into perspective again. Yeah, this was over a 2 minute period of time over that part of the space directly above the Earth. It is small and close. Because if you move around in a window and something outside the window moves dramatically, it's probably not very fucking far away. But then again, maybe it is. By the way, this is the low-resolution JPEG one just because I felt like doing what UFO researchers do. Anyway, they were 450 miles west of the Namibian west coast of Africa. They were up in the air around X number of 100 miles above the ground. Moving. This thing moved along with them, which means it was not going north to south or east to west any different than the ship. So it was in the same generalized orbit. If you can move around in a window and something moves dramatically to the background, that means it's closer to you than it is the background. And since many, if not all of these images show it being between the spacecraft and the Earth, it either is really close to the Earth and huge, or it's really close to the spacecraft and much smaller. I'm voting for the last one because that seems less fucking batshit crazy. Now, a little bit of critique. Yes, it's space debris. It's just like what you were told. A critique of NASA. Dear NASA, if the film stock box had the number on the side listing it as Kodak 5069 series number, why didn't you put that in there? I'm sorry, but all of this information took a lot more trouble than it needed to be for me to look up what the hell these numbers meant. Say thank you. Next, you're 214 nautical miles up and 425 to 415 miles west of the African coast, and something's moving along in the same orbit you're in. If it was dramatically a different orbit, it would be hundreds of miles away in a few frames. That is not evident in this imagery. So you can do this experiment at home. Put something at the opposite side of your yard from your window. Put it very close to that side of the yard. Make it a big object. Okay? Okay. Move around in the window and see if you get a lot of change in the position relative to the background of that object. Now take a smaller object that takes up about the same amount of space on your at your screen or whatever you want to call it. Put it near your window and move around and see if you can make it move easily by moving yourself. Okay, this is a simple test. Now, obviously, I have failed to understand all the intricacies and deep meaning of all of this that proves somebody should get money for their book. Somebody promoted this idea a long time ago as a book item. So here's the questions for everybody at home, playing at home, wanting to be super sleuths. Why is it called the Black Knight satellite? I mean, really? Well, it's because there was a Black Knight rocket project that existed at one time. And someone decided to make a book about it, and they promoted the idea. That's where that name got stuck in the culture, number one. Number two, did any of the other UFO geeks show you all the other images of the same thing as it seemingly shape-shifted to look like some flattened out object that popped loose? They were missing a heat shield material. It was a layer of something. A couple of the images definitely show tabs on the edges. It's not a fucking satellite. Well, now it is, effectively. It was moving along with a space shuttle. But again, the UFO experts, did they show you the other images? Did they tell you can get 4K resolution images if you want? Did they include the links to the data in the video and an archive of it so that it cannot be erased? Did they do any of those things for you? I wonder if I can do that. Can I look up image information? View image info. Is there anything here? Do we get any metadata? Can I get a metadata? I don't know. Look, if anybody wants to prove to me that this is a spaceship, that's fine. But you have to explain the anomaly of the person having control over its orbit by moving the camera. And you have to explain to me why UFO researchers never show you the other images. There's like 5 images of it. What the hell? I mean, come on. Before that, they were looking at the Earth, pointing it effectively up because they're upside down. They're flying upside down. So this caught their attention, and they wanted to take photos of it, figure out what it was. And it was over a 2-minute period of time. It's a piece of space debris. Probably from the shuttle, because it's going along with their orbit. If it was at a diametrically opposed orbit, going really a polar orbit, it probably wouldn't stay with them like this. And it remains about the same size, if not exactly the same size, in the image relative to a frame of reference we can use, which is the window. Anyway, that's about it. No, this isn't a spaceship. Yes, you were lied to if you believed it. I'm sorry. And again, I want you to put their feet to the fire. Go tell other UFO researchers. Do you have a response to this? Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.